because it's kind of one of those days. This is day one of fasting. And so things would get a little weird. They always do. What I'm doing this year, if you don't know, well, first of all, hey, hello, my name's DJ Eshelman. If you're here with me live, cool. Say something in the chat, but mostly I just figured I'd go live and have a talk and go from there and see what happens. You never know these days. You never know who's on. So I thought I'd do that. And besides, you can always watch it afterwards, right? Like you're probably doing right now. So anyway, I wanted to describe kind of what I was doing for my fast. So we are fasting from the 10th to the 20th of January, and so that is our fasting time frame. And to recap, if you haven't seen previous videos, the reason why we are doing this is kind of multifold. But one, my church is doing a fast right now from same exact time period, and so I felt I wanted to invite others in and not just be fasting myself. And so yeah, it's one of those things where I think there's some things that I can seek out and that we can seek out together. And so yeah, I'm actually inviting people into a private Facebook group that's going to only run for this time frame. So if something that's interesting to you, go ahead and jump into facebook.com/groups/11 talents 2021 JAN for January. So that is cool. You can do that. Hey, let's take a look outside and I can explain why I'm kind of dressed a little bit um, more warmly today. We had a event this morning when we opened our windows and we saw that it was snowing. Of course, now it's classic Nashville here, so it's not really accumulating. In fact, there's less white on the ground than there was a couple hours ago because the temperature got above uh, 35 degrees or whatever. So, but still, it's still some snowflakes falling, and kind of see that there. And hey, even a bird. Uh, Hello, bird. I probably should give these guys names because I do see these birds uh, all the time. So one of these days, so we'll come back to me here. Even though this might be more interesting and relaxing for some, I don't know. Maybe it would have been a couple hours ago when the really thick uh, uh, flakes were falling. Ooh, bye, bird. So let's come back to me. I'll show you. So for my fast, I decided to do a water only fast, which means that for a time period within the fast, I'll only be doing water. For me, I'm going to do, I think, 8 days of water only, and then transition back to um, more solid foods for the remaining 2 days of the fast. Probably juice is more likely what I'm going to do. I haven't decided on that fully. I may decide to go all 10 days and then just transition back separately. I might do that. We'll see how I feel. I Because of this, I've been transitioning down for the last few days as far as lowering my carbohydrate intake quite a bit and getting to the point where I can actually uh, successfully sustain water only without a lot of body aches and that sort of thing. And I gotta tell you, it's going really well. Even though we had a nice big meal yesterday and all that kind of stuff, we still limited the carbohydrates and red meats and that sort of thing, and that actually has helped a great deal. So we started at 6 p.m. yesterday, basically. Actually, if you want to get technical about it, I guess we probably actually started sooner than that, but that was the convenient time. So around 6 is when it officially kicked off for us. And so I today have not had anything except for water, which I need to almost refill this again. Tend to drink more, which is good, but I have actually s- drank a little bit of warm water with some Himalayan salt and lemon this morning, and that tends to help kind of the body transition a little bit is to do that. Something that Kevin was suggesting on Saturday, and I got to say that was uh, worked really well for me this morning. I'm also doing some herbal tea, and I wanted to show you guys this cup because it is a cup that has a little lid to it, so you can keep the steam in and keep it warm. Uh, And this is something that if I recall correctly, and perhaps my mother will see this and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was given to me as a graduation present in 1994. And so a little bit of life guidance here of success is doing what you love, success is loving what you do, and then, you know, success is being true to yourself. Good words for the 90s that still work today, you know. Yeah, the wisdom of the ages here, but a little bit of herbal tea on this chilly day. I mean, I suppose we could crank up the heat, but what's the fun in that? Sometimes it's fun to have a little bit of a experience like that. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what my focus is going to be on today. We are going to be going through this fast together. Later tonight, I'm going to be sending out a Zoom meeting for our Facebook group to attend privately. But since this is the more public forum, I thought I'd say, you know, some things that I'll be working on. I am actually really trying to focus in on um, kind of two things, I guess you could say. One is what I'm going to do when I grow up, and and how I'm going to do it. I say that with a little chuckle because I think there's some things that just I'm obviously going to do in my life, you know, and I'm obviously already doing in my life. And there's just a matter of focus between that and saying, okay, what are the priorities here? What's going to happen right now? What's the most important thing for me right now? And I am definitely one of those people that struggles with, uh, you know, analysis paralysis, that overanalyzes everything, that wants to get it exactly right the first time. And this is just a sickness that I have. It's pretty common among a lot of people, actually. That is actually way more common than I thought, especially among entrepreneurs, because we're often shown so many different ways to do things, and we see these great success stories because that's the way you sell things, right? Is with the success story. So we see these stories and we think, oh yeah, this is the way that it has to be. So if I don't feel like I'm living up to that, then you know I'm probably not going to do it. That sort of thing, or I feel like I'm doing it wrong, even though I'm probably doing it right. That sort of thing. So for this year, I'm doing what I can to seek out God's guidance as I walk through this. And so it, it it's not one of those sit in silence and wait kind of things. There's a motion that has to happen. And so the motion that I'm taking is I've actually started this process. So I started writing out notes from previous planners and journals over the last 2 years, and so I'm basically just collating them all into a single journal here that I'm going to then go through and decide, okay, what themes do I see? What kind of things do I see that I either missed or didn't do, and do I want to swing back around to those for any reason, and kind of wrestle a bit with that. And the other thing is I'm looking for things that I didn't do well because I didn't delegate well, and that's something that is another theme for this. Is what can I give up? You know, when you're fasting, that's what you're doing. You're giving up something. You're putting yourself into a purposeful discomfort, right? And so you are doing that to, um, well, frankly, you're doing that to get something out of it, right? Whether that's personal growth or whatever this looks like. There's some people that I know that are fasting because of the state of our country right now. That they are uh, concerned, and then that is their focus of prayer time and fasting, is that they are, you know, praying for our nation. And you know, it's not a bad thing. I think that's a good thing, actually. But for me, I will be honest and say that, you know, while that is on my thoughts and prayers, my focus is actually on these kind of things, and what can I, you know, give up? What should I do more of? And that sort of thing. So I have I've gone through two planners so far. I've got this one I'm going to go through this afternoon, and two more for this evening that I'm going to go through and just go through that, and then also prior years of uh, programs like Best Year Ever, Michael Hyatt. I'm going to go through the notes on these kind of things, and basically just gather up a bunch of these kind of things and then and pray over them and see how I feel about each of them. And so it's a kind of, getting my feet wet into this. But the timing of this, I think, is going to be important because the yeah, these first few days, especially when you're doing a water only, tend to be, very fluctuating um, attention span, obviously, but also energy level tends to be less and things like that. So you tend to see like needs to just go take a nap. You can see that, I have a futon right here in my office. That's going to get some use today. I guarantee it. I've actually was almost about to that point and kind of got a second wind. So that's why I decided to go live now is to take advantage of the wind. uh, so that's the goal for today is to be going through all that, which means that I kind of planned ahead a little bit. This week I really didn't schedule a lot of things. I've got a few calls and a few coaching sessions and that sort of thing. But really, as far as like expectations of myself this week, I really didn't put much on because I wanted to really be able to focus on this fast and on myself, honestly, about figuring out, okay, what's most important to you, DJ? What's the things that are really going to light you up and excite you, and are those kind of things compatible with the what God has created you to be and what you're uniquely called and qualified to do? And I'm already, even before we started this fast, in the process of gathering people together and starting to talk about it. I'm already starting to see themes emerge and things that I noticed. Well, gosh, DJ, you're really a lot more excited about that than you are about that. So, is that something you should be focusing in on? And so, that's another thing that I'm going to be looking for in my notes is what kind of things was I really excited about. In fact, that's one of the things that I do write out. I have a little symbol here of like a smiley face of something I was excited about, and a little arrow thing for things that I'm like, probably shouldn't have given that up. That was a good idea. You know, why didn't you do that? That sort of thing. Um, so, funny story about that, just really quick. Um, I'm surprised at in going through like notes from even 2 years ago how many things that I'd thought of that I thought were really good ideas that I somehow abandoned and in 2020 managed to come back to. It's kind of funny. I was like, I just had this wacky idea of, oh, I should start a YouTube channel, that sort of thing. And I'm actually not talking about this channel. I'm talking about if you're seeing this on YouTube, I'm actually talking about a different YouTube channel that we started last year. But the idea for it was over 2 years ago, and for some reason it just sat. So it wasn't out of my notes that it came. It was actually out of what I thought was an idea of inspiration at the time that was made real by writing it down previously. So kind of interesting as far as that goes, and whether that was a good idea or not, I'm not really sure long term. But the reality is that sometimes we do have those flashes of inspiration that, if we look back, yeah, find out we had it all along. So this is the cool thing about journaling and why I'm trying to do more of that this year, and so that's another part of this. But anyway, yeah, I thought I'd just get on and just record this video in a live setting just because that actually that's the way to push me is what I've found is that if I sit down and record a video, I want to make it perfect. But if it's live, it's hard to go back and make it anything other than what it is, and it just forces me to get out there. So this is what I'm going to try to do every day. Actually, while I'm here, let me pull this up. So I am looking at going live at about 10 a.m. on uh, Tuesday, and we're going to throw around some times for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I am looking at going live tomorrow, sometime around 10 o'clock in the morning on Central Time. So hope to see you back live. Then I may do another, quick check in today, but this is more than likely going to be my video for the day as I focus in on things and hoping to get something really cool to tell you for tomorrow, some cool insight or something like that. Um, I'm really not gonna be sad if I don't get that, but that's something I'm definitely hopeful for. Kinda one of those things is first day, like I said, is kind of much more about adjusting than anything, and so any activities are very much in that line of just, you know yeah, that. And, let me know, comments, messages, whatever, if any kind of time with reflecting on, meditations or anything like that would be useful to you or helpful to you, and I can probably get those scheduled out. Usually I keep my meditations fairly private, but, I'm not it's not because of any, like, need or reason, it's just a most I just do. So, if there's any desire to to have me share some of those during this time, I'm more than happy to do that. So, yeah, thanks for taking some time today and being with me, and we will see you. If nothing else, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one.